So before I start, let me say that this looks a million times better than it did, and you should see the other guy. And by the other guy, I mean the ground, because I fought the ground and the ground won. This is a story time about how I completely busted open my face my last morning in Toronto, and how I'm pretty sure I bled all over your beautiful, beautiful city, and I apologize. So here's the story. It was the last night of Buffer Festival. I was partaking in the festivities, drinking, and I was up really, really late, okay? So I had to get up around 6:30 to leave to get to the airport. My flight was at 8:55 a.m., which, you know, I said I want a morning flight, but a bitch did not realize how morning they wanted it to be. What happened was I must have gone to bed super late. Luckily, I packed most of my stuff the night before, so I just had to throw a few things in. And I probably was still somewhat drunk because I was just panic out of it, getting my stuff together, going downstairs. I get outstairs and the train station is directly across the street, okay? So I was going to the corner, and on my way, I don't know if I tripped over a grate, I don't know if I just missed my footing, but I had my guitar and I had this big suitcase, which I'm assuming is what caused this, because it has a nice little pattern, a little gradient to it, if you will. So I go down, and at this point, like, you know when you fall down and you're kind of embarrassed and you're kind of jolted, so you just get up. Like, other people immediately came to help me. I was like, no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I don't know if I had realized at this point that I was bleeding yet. It's a little fuzzy. And I know that as I'm saying that, a lot of you were like, you probably took a head injury that you should have gone to the hospital for. And I'm not denying that, but this is very fuzzy. I don't know if it's because I hit my head and I hurt myself in some kind of way. I don't know if it's just because I was like out of it and in a rush and just adrenaline and vodka. I ended up in some building at some point asking for directions to get to the train station, and this girl is looking at me horrified, because what has been happening is I have been bleeding a lot. I'm sure I bled all over my face. I have this yellow scarf that I'm like bleeding through, that I'm using trying to just stop, like just to cover my face, because my mindset is I have to get to the airport. My flight is at 8:55. I have 45 minutes that I have before once 45-minute cutoff hits, I can't check baggage anymore. I have to check baggage. Freaking out. So I'm just out of my mind. She basically is like, you have to sit down. Like, we have like a medical person here. Just let him look at you real quick. So she gets me to sit down in a chair. I have a scarf around, which I'm like trying to pinch my face. I don't quite know how badly I'm bleeding. I don't know where I'm bleeding from. I don't even know how I've injured myself. I just know that my back didn't go out and bitch has to go. So this guy comes over, he makes me take off the scarf, and I'm assuming start bleeding. And he's like, yeah, see, the moment you move that and move the skin, it opened it back up. So he makes me, he takes like a little alcohol swab or whatever. He's like, this might hurt. I'm like, at this point, pain does not matter, okay? So he puts it on, doesn't really hurt. He has me pinch it. I think it gets to a point where it stops bleeding enough for him to put a Band-Aid on it. I luckily have baby wipes. And this is the biggest lesson I've learned. Please always have wipes on you of some kind. I use them to like wash off my face at the end of the night, like makeup and stuff. If I don't have time to like fully clean it, like at least I know I'm getting stuff off. I had those in my bag and proceeded to clean off my face of all of the blood, and I had to throw away my scarf, which I'm really, really sad about. It was a beautiful like mustard color. I was using it as a shawl the night before. The night before, I looked glorious. The day after, I looked like this. The transition is incredible. You know, the before and after is amazing. You never see them like this anymore. And this girl the entire time is like, she's being very, very cool. She's basically saying like, don't worry, like we can get you another flight. And when you're in panic mode, I knew they weren't gonna get me another flight. I was gonna have to deal with it myself, but like when I was in panic mode, it helped calm me down and soothe me enough that I could sit long enough to stop bleeding. So I finally get on the train. I get to the airport, I get through. I'm still really out of it. And I get through security, and then I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at my face. This is gonna happen. So I take off the Band-Aid and I immediately start bleeding, like non-stop bleeding. So I'm taking these baby wipes and trying to like pray to baby Jesus, just please, they're not gonna let me into the fucking country if I'm bleeding everywhere. They're not gonna let me do that. Obviously prayer works because, again, good Catholic girl. The guy at customs is asking me way too many questions. He's asking, I'm not wearing my Sorry Brad shirt, I'm wearing my Blue Revolution shirt, which you can get on dftba.com, MeghanTonjes.com, there's a link to it. I'm wearing my Sorry Brad shirt. This guy's like, is that your band, Sorry Brad? I'm like, I don't want to be an asshole, but it's a long story and I'm bleeding from my face. So once I get into the airport, I have a minute to sit down, get some water, get some band-aids, take selfies of my face and send it to my closest friends and or the people that I was trying to sleep with this weekend. I start to realize what has happened. So I'm going to show you the injuries. I'm not quite sure how all of these happened. So the first one that I will go to, okay, first of all, I tried to put makeup on this for another video and it didn't go well. So it's like it's scabbing right now. I think that's from my suitcase because I had a very distinct pattern. So I think I hit my suitcase as I fell down. The biggest one, the one that wouldn't stop bleeding, is this right here, which literally looks like I should be getting stitches immediately. This huge gash that I just took out of my nose, and it's probably gonna be a scar. This, I tried to put lipstick on for another video, so you see some of that. This is the most annoying one. I don't know what I hit going down, but it immediately started like scabbing, or it split right here. My mom thinks my tooth went through my lip. I'm not sure. And then it's like scabbed right here. So, and I didn't have a black eye, but luckily the day after I woke up, this existed. Really does bring out the color of my eyes, I will say. And now the black eye has started to travel a little bit. As you can see, it's kind of swollen purple here. It's a little swollen purple here, though luckily I didn't get 2 full black eyes, just the 1 1/4. I mean, we know over the past year I've like used prayer and my Midwest soul to heal like 2 probably very badly strained, if not completely fucked ankles. Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes and Gilmore Girls, and this is us stepping on my toe making it bleed. My back going out twice. I've tried to heal all those things with prayer and like oils and, you know, I don't know, touching myself, and that has seemed to work. So I was hoping that this wasn't as bad of a thing as it is. Oh, also, I don't want to leave these out. So I have bruises on my arm. This is gone. Well, that used to be skin. That's gone now. It's sore, bruise here. I'm beat up. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling it. I don't feel so great. So my brother is a nurse, and so I knew I was staying with him when I got home, and so I kind of waited for him to get home and look at me. He was like, listen, it's not deep enough. They probably wouldn't do stitches. It's not clean enough that I can even like really glue it together. He's like, I think it's just gonna scab over. It might be a scar. I'm gonna put some Neosporin stuff on it. We're gonna, you know, clean it out. And the lip was really bad. The lip was like fully swollen. I'll show a little picture here. So it's finally come down to kind of be a normal size, but these scabs are so painful and like it's hard to eat. It's hard to drink. I can't press my lips together. How am I gonna get proper blowjobs? Excuse me? This looks the worst. This feels the worst. Though this is starting to get tight now, so when I make facial expressions, I'm like, oh my God. I do feel a little, I don't feel like foggy. I just feel like a little out of it. So I don't know. I have a shitty memory in general, so it's really hard for me to figure out if I like am missing memories or missing certain things. I mean, I went to sleep and I didn't die, you know, so that's been helpful. I don't have a huge headache. I don't have like really bad swelling. This kind of hurts, obviously, it's annoying. But I just feel a little jolted. So we'll see. I don't think that I hurt my brain in any kind of way, hopefully, but I scrambled it up a little bit. So yeah, this is a story of how I bled all over Toronto. I'm so sorry, dear city, but Buffer Festival was incredible. Thank you to everyone that liked the video that I showed and premiered. It's been doing well and I'm really happy. You can go check that out here. It's about how the friend zone is bullshit and crushes are the worst. Thank you for everyone that loved the performance. Thank you to all of the attractive men that work at Relio. Thank you to all of the free alcohol provided. And thank you to your cement streets for catching my face. And my mom is just staring at me from outside. I don't know what she's doing. Okay, well I gotta go because I'm probably gonna get yelled at. Can I get yelled at by my mom when I'm 30? It's gonna happen. She looks so confused. Okay, I love you, bye.
Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crime he might perpetrate next?
He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of a suicidal maniac.